Welcome to Waypoint X Wednesdays. My name is Judd, so let's get started. Well, welcome to Waypoint X Wednesdays, an off-road podcast. My name is Judd, and we really do appreciate you tuning in today. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave us a like, leave us a comment, and hit that bell for all notifications. And if you're over on Spotify, hit that follow button. We really do appreciate it. If you have any ideas for podcasts in the future, please let us know. We've got some good ones coming up. We had one just the other day that asked us two-door versus four-door, and so we're going to be bringing that to you very, very soon. We've got, since I've never had a two-door, I feel like that is something that I can't really talk on. So we're going to have a guest on the show that drives a two-door, and I'm going to be the four-door guy, and so we're going to kind of battle it out. And so we'll be bringing that show to you here shortly, and so definitely want to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out. But guys, we really do appreciate your support, and we want to get into today, and it's going to be crazy. And also, one more thing before we get started, we've got some off-road videos coming up. I know we've been slacking on those because it's been crazy here at the Waypoint X house, and so it's crazy time right now. But we do have two. We have one from Florida Jeep Jam that we're going to be putting out very, very soon, as well as one from the Turkey Bay Jeep Badge of Honor when we went to Kentucky, and so that one's coming out. And so make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, so you get notified when those are out. But on to our main subject of today, and I try to keep it to 3 points because we try to keep these short, around the 15-minute time frame or so. So something short, something that you can just listen to on your ride into work, or if you're in the shop, things of that nature, you can listen to, and it's just a quick little short podcast. And so we try to keep it to 3 points or less, unless we have a guest on. I think the two-door versus four-door debate might be a little longer than that because, the two-door versus four-door people, they bash heads all the time. So, but getting into our main subject is ruining the off-road community. So what is ruining it? And I think you could say that there's more than 3 points, and I might get some hate comments or, comments that say, why didn't you mention this and why didn't you mention that? And I really think that these are kind of the top three, maybe that you could switch out one or two of them here or there. But I feel like these three are kind of up there, at least in your top five. But we're going to do the top three. And the first one that's ruining the off-road community is tearing up the trails. So tearing up the trails, whether you're spinning out, you're going through mud holes that don't need to be gone through, you're going off the trail, you're trying to widen the trail, you see that there might be this little shortcut here or there, and you start using that when you're not supposed to. Really, the biggest thing is rutting up the trail, driving too fast. Instead of just pulling a winch line or getting unstuck, you just want to sit there and, cause it to be worse and the mud hole to be worse and basically everything to erode away. And what happens when we do that is places get shut down and, then they take it away from us. So basically the government takes it away from us. Just one more thing that they can take away. And so if we give them that excuse of, oh, you're just tearing it up, they're going to take it away every single time. And so we really got to take, the tread lightly motto of not tearing up the trails and doing justice. I'm not saying don't go out there, have a good time, hit the rocks, hit the obstacles, but don't tear it up. There's no reason to tear it up. Absolutely don't do that. And so we really need to pay close attention to that. I will say, and I will get hate on this, is I don't necessarily think it's coming from the Jeep community, and that's all I'm going to say. I think it's coming from other communities, and so if you're watching this, don't hate me. Just try to do better. Number 2 is trash on the trails. I couldn't tell you how much trash not only we see, but we pick up on the trails, and that's whether it's at a private park, a public, road or, area. There's trash everywhere. We've got to do better picking up the trash. I mean, there's no question about it. We've got to do better. And so, whether you have a sacket, we do sell those, by the way. So if you need one, let us know. but have a sack it on the back of your vehicle, side by side, what it is, whatever you're riding in, and make sure you pick it up. And so if you're eating lunch, make sure you not only put the trash from your lunch, but if you see some cans or some bottles laying out, pick them up. And if we pick up things like that just throughout our trail ride, then next thing you know, it's clean. And so we just got to do a better job of that. And so you've heard me before. I'm a big component of not drinking and driving, crazy enough. And drinking and driving while you're on the trail is a big no-no in my opinion. And so we at Waypoint X don't do that. We don't drink while we're out on the trail. Now, if you want to drink, at the campfire while everything's done, you're done driving for the day and you're going to camp out, great. I don't care if you have a drink. But while you're on the trail, I don't think you should. That's just my opinion, and I'm going to stand on that because there's no difference between you drinking and driving and going down the interstate or going off-road. And I think it's even more of a risk sometimes off-road because there's a lot more involved, and you got to pay even closer attention because things can be, even on the roadway, on the interstate, it can be deathly in a matter of seconds. But off-road, things can happen really, really quick without you knowing, and you need to make sure that everything is straight and in line, and you're not seeing, or slow to react, anything like that. And so I really say don't drink, but that's just my little squirrel for this show. So pick up the trash, guys. Pick up all the beer cans. Don't drink and drive. And lastly, it kind of goes back to number one. And so, I might add a fourth one in here at the end. We'll just have to see. But large groups. And so I'm not necessarily hating on the large groups. I don't think, having a big group is necessarily bad. I think it's got to be organized in such a way to where it does not bring attention to the group. So, because that's what the government's looking for. They're looking for, oh, well, that group did it. Or why is there so many people? They're tearing up the trails. And so if you have a group of 5 or 7, max really 10, going through a trail, they're like, that's not that big a deal. But you have a group of 20, 30 people, next thing you know, they've got their eyeballs locked in on you. I mean, you're basically like a big billboard going into a trail system. And I think I've said this on a podcast before, and if not, I apologize. If there is like 2 razors, maybe some dirt bikes, maybe something else, some other vehicle, and there might be 2 of these, 3 of these, 4 of those, but you have like 20, 30 rigs of Jeeps, they're going to blame everything that happens on that trail to the Jeeps just because of the numbers. Unfortunately, that's what they want to do, and that's how they'll try to shut it down is they see the numbers. Let's say you do have a big group like that, because I really do encourage getting people out there on the trail. And so you can have a group, 20, 30 people, but I think you got to stagger them. I think you got to have some trail guides in there, stagger them, maybe, stagger them by 10, 15 minutes. So you go have a good group of 7 to 10, go out, and then you stop, hang out for a few minutes, and then the next group goes out. You wait a little bit, and then the next group goes out. And so you have these 3 different groups that are going out of 10, you got 10. So it's a big group of 30, but you got 10, 10, 10. And then they don't think that there's 30 rigs going into the same trail system all at one time. And so it kind of, it's a mind game in a way. And so, but also it's making sure that we don't tear up the trails. I will say this, especially if it's been raining, and I know just when I've taken people out to Stony, if it's rained just a little bit, and let's say I've got, I've never taken more than like 10 rigs or so. I think that's like the max, unless it's a jamboree, but that's a completely different story, just because we basically have the park to ourselves for the most part. So max of like 10 rigs, and even when we've had less, it can be just a little bit wet, and I'll go up the obstacle, have no problems whatsoever. And then, the next Jeep will have a little bit of problem, and like they're all on 37s. Granted, this was even when I was on 37s, and now I'm on 40, so it didn't matter about tire size. So if you're wanting to say, oh, well, it's the 40s, it's not, guys. It happened before then. And so I'll go up it, and then the next person has even more trouble. And by the last Jeep, they can barely even get up it because they've now put all the water on all the rocks. It's super slick. The traction you did has is not there. And so, the more Jeeps get through there, the more the trail is getting torn up, especially if it's wet outside. So that's why I really say you got to space them out. And if it is raining and wet outside, you might want to, drop your numbers. I'm not saying, you got to do this, every single time. I'm just saying we've got to pay more attention to that, especially if we're going into public lands like national forest roads or any type of land that can be questionable, that a lot of people have their eyes on. You don't want to get into trouble, and we don't want places to be shut down. We've got to take care of it, guys. It's up to us as the off-road community to make sure these places stay open, because unfortunately they're going to close them down the first chance they get. And so we're going to have to fight tooth and nail to make sure these places are open. I know places like Colorado and Moab are already trying to ban razors and side-by-sides because of, them ripping up and down the trails. And a lot of the problem out there is like the rental companies that I've heard. That's just from what I've heard. It could be completely different, but, they rent out these razors to basically any person that wants to, drive one, and they're tearing up the trails and they're going off the trails and things of that nature. And so we've just got to do a better job. This isn't just in Alabama where I'm talking. This is all over the United States, because the government's trying to find a way to basically shut it down, and it will unfortunately hurt us all. So we've got to do a better job of that. All right, guys. So I'm going to give you one more, because I think, tearing up the trails and then large groups, large groups is kind of like a subcategory of tearing up the trail. So I'm going to give y'all one more. It's kind of a bonus. So the last one is hate in the community. And that's not just hate between, razors and Jeeps, or Jeeps and four-wheelers against dirt bikes. I think it goes beyond that, because I know there's a lot of hate in between those communities. Razors say we go too slow. Jeeps say the razors go too fast. There's always the, things they have about each other. I really think we have to be unified in our goal of off-roading and be respectful of each other. But also, I think the hate along just in the Jeep community, because that's where I'm at in this current stage of life, is the Jeep community, because I was in the off-road community as far as like dirt bikes. So I was in the motocross scene, trail scene, things of that nature. And so I've seen it from both sides. But as far as the Jeep community, there's a lot of hate between Jeepers, which I don't understand, whether it's, the guy that's just your weekend warrior or your rock crawler, or your Jeep group versus Jeep group because someone got their feelings hurt and wanted to start another Jeep group. I don't really get it, but that's just me. We've got to stop the drama, stop the hate, and kind of be a common goal to not ruin the off-road community, because it's going to be here long after we're gone. And so we've got to keep building it. And so whoever just bought their new Jeep and wants to take it off-road for the first time, or meet you at the meet and greet and stuff like that, we've got to encourage them. Or they've hit the obstacle course for the first time and they're just kind of scared to death of, they don't want to tear up their Jeep. We've got to encourage them and say, this is capable. Let's take it nice and slow. Let's kind of walk you through it. Let's not just, pin the gas pedal and just hope you make it. Let's take it easy. And so we've got to have that, common goal of not all the hate, encouragement. I'm not saying you got to like everybody, because I sure don't. So you don't have to like everybody. I just think we've got to have some type of positive attitude towards each other as Jeepers, because we've got to grow the Jeeping community, because I see a lot of people come into it and then step right back out of it, or they step into it and they never even take it off road. And I know there's a lot of Jeepers that will never take their Jeep off road, and mall crawler, whatever you may want to call it. I totally, if that's your thing, go for it. It's not mine. So no hate. That's just not what I like to do. But the people that are off-roading is what I'm talking to, is we've got to encourage more. We can't hate on the people that don't, that are kind of scared to. We just got to be encouraging and welcoming and hope that they'll come off-road and really see all the, for lack of awesomeness, of the off-road scene. And just tell them what Jeep stands for. It just means just empty every pocket, because the first time they go off-road, they're going to want to upgrade. They're going to want to, get bigger tires, bigger lift, things of that nature. So just prepare them for that. But encourage them. Be friendly, be a good neighbor, and encourage the off-road scene. And just take it nice and slow. There's no reason to tell them just to smash the gas pedal and hope they make it. Just take it nice and slow. And if they don't, let's winch them out or pull them up. Let's not tear up their stuff. There's no reason for that. And that's why I encourage, we have some stock-friendly rides that we're going to be doing shortly, so be on the lookout for those. In the near future, we're going to be doing a few of those at Stony Lonesome. So if you have not been to Stony Lonesome and want to do a stock-friendly ride, we're going to have that very, very soon. And so it's not a time to tear up your rig. It's not a time to make fun of anybody. It's a time to learn, encourage, and get off-road. And so that's what I want to see out of the off-road Jeeping community. And don't hate. So there's enough hate in this world to go around. Let's not do any more of it. And so I'm not saying you got to like everybody, but let's do better. So with all that being said, I really do appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, Spotify, follow, all that good stuff that I said earlier. Like I said, we really do appreciate all your support. And like I said, if you have a idea for a podcast, please send them in. Just like the one the other day, sent in 2-door versus 4-door. We're going to be doing that. That should possibly be the next episode. Don't want to promise that, but it could be the next episode. And so we're going to be filming a lot as we go to Michigan for the Drummond Island Jeep Jamboree. We're really excited about that, and we're going to be doing some podcasts with our good buddy Joe and Clayton. And so can't wait to be doing those, and really excited. So, guys, we really do appreciate it. We want to know where your next destination is, and hope to see you out on the trail.